Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our live coverage of Starlink 11-6 mission launching from West Coast, that is from Pad Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. Hope you all are doing fine and excited about this SpaceX Starlink launch. Hello, my name is Dipta Maitra, performing the commentary for today's mission launch, and you are watching AstroYonder live.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Houston, we see a nominal MECO. Welcome to space.
Hello there. We are super excited bringing you the coverage of SpaceX's 12th overall launch and the 11th Falcon 9 launch of this year. Today's launch marks the 4th from Vandenberg for SpaceX as they continue building their incredible launch cadence for the year. Currently, we are waiting for a Falcon 9 liftoff at 6:07 a.m. Pacific Time, 9:07 Eastern Time from California for a southeasterly launch for SpaceX Starlink mission. The Starlink mission 11-6 will launch a batch of 23 Starlink satellites. Excuse me. 23 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit will be launched by the Starlink mission 11-6, and today's Starlink mission marks SpaceX's amazing 439th overall launch. Now, first of all, on behalf of AstroYonder team and our awesome moderators, thank you all for joining us for today's launch. We are super grateful to have you as part of the stream. Really appreciate you being here. A huge shout out to our amazing YouTube community for the support as we bring you detailed coverage of space launches with all the stats and in-depth insights. Now, before moving on, would like to welcome Pop Replica, and thanks for reaching that goal. Pop Replica, one of our moderators here, and just not moderators, one of our closest friend and supporter, and must say always standing in the harsh time when we are facing. Well, yes, it is a shorter, I don't think that they reached a record with this, but it is a short turnaround time for the pad. And today's launch will be the 7th dedicated Starlink mission of the year for SpaceX. Prior to today's launch, SpaceX has launched 145 Starlink satellites so far. Over 6 flights this year. And of course, the count right now is low at the start of the year, but trust me, it's gonna climb fast. And what I speculate from the trend that SpaceX will be launching at least over 2,000 Starlink satellites this year, provided no mishaps come in between. Else, just last year only they could have reached this milestone. But we know that last year a staggering 1,982 Starlink satellites were launched. Oh well, let me have my glasses, I can see properly the screen. I forgot to put them on. Well, fine. Now, prior to today's launch, 7,777 Starlink satellites have been launched to date, which includes 427 dedicated direct-to-cell satellites. So now let's get back to today's mission. Let me just check whether SpaceX is sticking with their currently the liftoff time of 6:07 a.m. Pacific time. Yes, they are sticking with that. So let's move on and let's have a look at the payload details for Starlink Group 11-6 mission. Well, here I would like to give you an update that Starlink direct to cell, that is direct from satellite to cell phone internet connection, will start its beta testing from January 27th, like just in 3 days from now, which we know aims to eliminate the dead zone worldwide. We just got this update from Elon's tweet maybe 3 to 4 hours ago. So just wanted to update you guys. Now this launch marks the 7th dedicated Starlink launch of this year. Built in Redmond, Washington, today's payload consists of record-breaking 23. It's not record-breaking. Previous one was a record-breaking. I just got confused. So it consists of 23 Starlink version 2 mini satellites. Previously on the Starlink 11-8 mission, SpaceX did manage to break the record of the Starlink version 2 mini satellites to be launched, the number of them to make them to 27. So that's a record as of now. And each satellite is equipped with 5 advanced Ku band phased array antennas, 3 dual band parabolic antennas which utilizes Ka and E band, and a 52.5 square meter dual solar array with a wingspan of 100 feet. The 2 solar arrays are also aeroneutral, which enable faster on-orbit maneuvers. Also, each satellite is equipped with a high-capacity battery to provide the power to the payloads. They also features 3 space laser transponders, optical intersatellite links or ISLs for intercommunications operating at up to 200 Gbps. And each satellite make use of argon fueled Hall effect thrusters for in-orbit maneuvering. Previously, which was Krypton, I guess. They used to have those Hall effect thrusters using the Krypton fueled, which was a little costlier compared to argon. And I did mention in my previous streams that why they switched to argon, because practically if we will be looking towards the argon fuel, it's making them to have a free of cost fuel for each Starlink satellites. Now today's payload will be placed in an orbit with an altitude of 279 kilometers with an inclination of 53.16 degrees. Now here I would like to just mention we didn't got any specific update that today's payload will be the similar kind of payload that they launched in the previous 11-8 mission from Vandenberg, because previous one they did got to manage 27 of them because they were of lesser weighing. Each satellite was around 575 kilograms, but I guess today they will be launching with the regular one which weighs 800 kilograms, that is 1763 pounds. On the previous one, Starlink 11-8, on which they launched 27 Starlink satellites, they were 22% lesser in weight than this one, that is of 800 kilograms. Now Starlink satellites use built custom built-in star tracker to find their position, altitude, and orientation for optimal broadband throughput. And each one has 4 reaction wheels for precise attitude control, that is for the orientation, plus a hot spare setup for the reliability. The aluminum flywheel is designed to safely burn up at the end of their useful life. And the most important thing for this Starlink satellite, they have an autonomous collision avoidance system that is on board, which uses the Department of Debris tracking database to avoid any space junk and other spacecraft. Now that's all about the payload for today. Now let's quickly move on to the booster supporting today's mission. The booster with tail number 1063 supporting today's mission, which is a mature booster with 22 previous flights in its record, including missions like Sentinel-6 Michael Freilich, also known as Sentinel-6A, a radar altimeter satellite developed in partnership between several European and American organizations. Next, the DART mission, which stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test for NASA. Then Transporter 7, that is SpaceX's rideshare mission, as we know, which launched 51 satellites for different customers. Iridium OneWeb, launching 21 total satellites for both Iridium and Eutelsat OneWeb. And Pop Tripicum just coming to you. Okay, just let me finish this one. Addressing you. Okay, please don't mind. And the next mission supported was SDA-0B for Space Development Agency, a United States Force direct reporting unit, and 3 NRO missions, NROL 113, 167, and 149 for National Reconnaissance Office. And the last mission supported by today's booster was the NROL 149 on December 17th of last year. The booster's turnaround time as of today is 38 days. And here I would like to mention that SpaceX experienced its first in-flight failure of a Falcon 9 rocket since 2015 with this booster only during Starlink 9-3 mission. Now today is the 4th flight for the booster following that incident. Also worth mentioning that this booster had 21 out of 22 previous launches from here at Vandenberg itself, with only one launch from Cape Canaveral. Interestingly, this booster will be flying for its 21st consecutive launch from Pad Space Launch Complex 4 East at Vandenberg, and it is having 18 landings on, of course, I Still Love You, 3 on landing zone 4 at the west coast, and 1 landing on Just Read the Instructions at the east coast. Also, just a quick fun fact, the booster with tail number 1063 made its first launch on November 21 in 2020, and it is the oldest one in the current active booster fleet with an age of 4 years, 2 months and 3 days as of now. Although the number of counts for the mission supported is 22 as of now, and it's going to be 23, but whereas the booster with tail number 1067 is having the highest number with 25 number of flights, but still it is younger than the today's booster, which is booster with tail number 1063. I would like to welcome Marcos Antonio for joining us. You are coming on our stream, like in most of the stream, Marcos. Thanks for that. Hope you are doing well. Well, yes, what will become, I think, something with the seventh group they launched with the first Starlink satellite, and it was like maybe 1 year or that kind of. I'm not so much. It's not. I'm not recalling the date for the first Starlink direct to cell satellite launch. Although, but yes, it's so fast. They finished the first constellation for the direct to cell satellite, and now they are coming to the beta testing as well. Really, it feels good, and hopefully you can have a taste of that, because here Starlink is yet to be launched. Maybe it was planned to be launched this year, but and this month, still not getting any news. And other service providers are rushing to compete with Starlink, providing their satellite direct to cell satellite kind of technologies. Although they don't own any satellites, others telecom operators here, but showing up with the Starlink one. And now let's move on. As we talked about the booster, let's take a look at the bar graph showing the number of Falcon 9 launches each year. So before this upcoming launch, SpaceX completed its 10th launch for this year with Starlink Group 11-8 launch from Vandenberg on January 21st, marking their remarkable 400th booster landing to date. It's a milestone in case of reusability. And previously, we know SpaceX completed 132 launches of Falcon 9 last year, and overall 134 launches, marking a year with highest annual launches to date for SpaceX. Now, with today's launch of Starlink Group 11-6 mission, the bar graph depicts 11 Falcon 9 launches for 2025 as SpaceX gears for another year full of exciting missions and record breakers. This year we have that Fram 2 mission also. I guess it will be similar, although similar means like just to have in a group of same genre, but it will be kind of Polaris Dawn mission. And okay, according to Elon's tweet, possibly we could see 180 Falcon 9 launches this year. Now, to all of you joining us, we have a request. If you haven't already, consider giving this video a like. It really helps YouTube's algorithm to bring in more space fans and rocket enthusiasts. And if you are feeling we are adding value to your viewing experience, consider subscribing to us, and we would be super grateful for your support. Now, skipping the pre-launch timeline discussion, as it's a typical Falcon 9 launch with no other alteration, just the strong bag here at the Vandenberg will be reclining 13 degrees away from the Falcon 9. As we know, it's a Vandenberg flight. Otherwise, in Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center, the strong back reclines about a degree and a half away from the Falcon 9. So just that is the difference in the pre-launch timeline. Other than that, there is no other differences, so I'm not discussing that. Once again, just a reminder, SpaceX is currently targeting a liftoff time of 6:07 a.m. Pacific time, 9:07 a.m. Eastern time for the launch of Starlink 11-6 mission from Vandenberg Space Force Base. Now let's just quickly move on and briefly step through the trajectory for today's Starlink mission. Falcon 9 leaving the pad Space Launch Complex 4 East from Vandenberg. With the spacecraft on board the batch of 23 Starlink satellites for a southeast trajectory along the coast of Southern California, heading into a low Earth orbit, that is to the 11th shell of second generation Starlink mega constellation, indicated by that green line on your screen. The red line on your screen indicates where the Falcon 9 will land after stage separation, just a little later leaving California's coast. This is going to be a off the land landing, a droneship landing. And today here at the West Coast, as we know, it's always the missions are supported by, of course, I Still Love You. Now, which means that the first stage booster with tail number 1063 flying for its 23rd time, as Pop Topeka said, a veteran one, will be returning heading out to the drone ship for its landing. And this will be the 119th landing on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship to date, if successful. Now, just provide me for a second. I just forgot to have the details for the booster recovery and fairing recovery distances. Let me see if I can find it. If I can, I will just let you know. Well, it seems like there is no details available, but if it is an 11th group flight, probably the estimated booster recovery will be approximately 574 kilometers, with estimated fairing recovery approximately 703 kilometers downrange. And the stage 2 debris reentry will be in the East Pacific. Now, currently, as we know, there are 3 in SpaceX drone ship fleet, anticipating the addition of a 4th one, which was previously promised that to be happening early this year. Now, out of 3, just read the instructions, and a shortfall of gravitors are based in Florida, and another, of course, I Still Love You, supporting today's mission, is based here at California. Now, here are some of the stats for the drone ships on your screen. That from when they started service previously, what they were named, just to have a rough idea. Once again, we would like to thank all of you joining us on our stream. It will be more good that if you can join us on chat so that we can know about you. We will be super grateful to know more about your perspective, your thoughts. Now let's move on and let's talk about the fading recovery. Oh, well, just a second. I forgot completely to make the timer. So currently we are 18 minutes kind of away from the liftoff. And oh well, so we were talking about fairing recovery. You can see on your screen how a fairing half is splashing down with the help of parachute. Now SpaceX will utilize a recovery vessel to retrieve them from the Pacific waters. The two halves of the payload fairing will be recovered slightly farther, approximately 129 kilometers downrange from where the first stage lands on the drone ship. After they will smoothly splash down with the guidance of parachutes. Now on your screen, a look for to understand how a fairing recovery operation looks like. Although the recovery vessel on your screen is Doug performing the recovery operations, but today's recovery vessel is Go Beyond here Pacific. Now other recovery vessel Bob, Doug and Go Cosmos are currently awaiting for its next assignment. Hopefully we will be able to have Go Cosmos sooner in like to come in operation because it's staying mode, and I guess it's going undergoing some refurbishment or something like that, because it is quite unusual that for such long a recovery vessel is moved. Now let's me once again check whether the liftoff time is, yes, well, they are proceeding with the same schedule. No worry. Now let's quickly move on to the stats. We are just having 15 minutes. So the Starlink Group 11-6 mission marks SpaceX's 439th overall launch, the 7th dedicated Starlink launch of this year. This is going to be the 426th Falcon 9 launch to date. 23rd flight of this particular Falcon 9 booster supporting today's mission, with tail number 1063 being in action after 38 days. Today's mission marks 11th Falcon 9 launch and SpaceX's 12th overall launch of 2025. This will be 371st Falcon booster reflight to date, and the launch, which means that the launch of a booster that has flown at least once before. This count mentioned just now is for the overall Falcon booster, and for the specific Falcon 9 booster reflight, I'm just coming to that in a while. 110th orbital launch for SpaceX, launching from Space Launch Complex 4 East, and the 177th overall orbital launch from this pad. With the success of this mission, SpaceX will have a remarkable 7,800 Starlink satellites, including 427 dedicated direct-to-cell satellites launched to date. Now, moving on to some reusability statistics. This launch marks 355th Falcon 9 booster reflight to date. This will be the 119th landing on, of course, I Still Love You drone ship. 23rd landing for the first stage booster with tail number 1063. And with this mission's first stage landing, SpaceX will be having 320th overall drone ship landing, marking 382nd Falcon 9 landing to date, and a staggering 401st SpaceX's overall landing to date. Now, some droneship stats prior to today's mission. Meanwhile, would like to address Pop Tripika, one of our moderator here joining us. Pop Tripika, would like to beg your pardon. We could not, I couldn't got time to intimate that our channel got monetized once again. Just of now, when I started, I was gearing up for this stream. I saw that they said that we got accepted. So for that, and also sorry, Angry Bird, that couldn't intimate you as well. Thanks for joining us. Nothing to be sorry, Angry Bird. It's fine. We are still away from the liftoff, so you did came in the right time. I know these stats and things are boring for you. You just want to see the launch, so no worries. Although I will be having something more stats to say. Well, I'm not sure about that, Poptopika, whether it will be visible or not. But thanks that you you said this. Now it made me to remind of something that today might be we will be having that twilight effect with the Falcon booster. I was reading somewhere that chances are there we will be able to see that twilight effect. And yes, you did, and thanks for your contribution as for that goal which I set, although others are not having that. Anyways, won't comment about that. At least our family is there. It's done. Well, we applied yesterday and it came today, so it's nothing. It should be like this, Angry Bird, but for the last time we did have to wait 2 months for to get a reply from YouTube's end. So this time maybe they worked in a proper way, and so we did got the response faster. But thanks to all of you for your support. For that, we could get monetized, and hopefully, you will be having your support uh, for us to continue so that we can excel in what we are doing, providing you launch coverages with extensive stats and thorough insights. And also, it's all credit goes to you guys that for you only I got to this point, and today I'm such inspired and such desperate to provide more details every time when I'm streaming any launch, like covering any launch coverages. So thanks to you all. I know my expressions are not so much like thankful kind of. I'm a little serious kind of a guy. I always talk like this, but from the deep of my heart, all credit goes to you, and really thanks to you once again. Maybe this time my facial expressions match the way I said it. Now let's quickly move on to the stats for this year for SpaceX is having. So with today's mission, SpaceX will have the 12th launch of this year, and out of those, 7 are Starlink missions, including today's one, and 4 were non-Starlink missions for commercial and government organizations. 11 reuse booster with this mission. Now, if the geographical distributions for the launches shows that they have 7 launches from East Coast with 3 from Launch Complex 39A, that is Kennedy Space Center, and 4 from Space Launch Complex 40, that is from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. On the West Coast, they will be having 4 launches with today's mission, and from space that is from Space Launch Complex 4 East here at Vandenberg Space Force Base. And as of now, 1 launch from Gulf Coast of Starbase, Gulf Coast at Starbase in Texas, with the 7th integrated flight test and 1 super heavy catch as of this year. Hopefully we will have more of them. Now for landings, they will be nailing it for the 11th time this year with 10 droneship landings. 3 on, of course, I Still Love You, including today's one. Another 3 on Just Read the Instructions, and 4 on A Shortfall of Gravitas. For ground landings, it is 1 as of now. Now I guess we are getting close to the webcast. And yes, it did begin. So let's just quickly move on to the webcast. Well, meanwhile, let me just tell you what I was left behind. That today is the 75th launch of SpaceX since the last mission failure, and prior to today's mission, there were 74 successful launches since last mission failure with Starlink 9-3, 59 successful landings since last landing failure with Starlink 8-6. 292 missions with at least 1 reused fairings, and approximately 552 numbers of fairing halves have been reused. And today's mission is the 18th orbital launch of the year, and with that, United States is leading with 12 launches, followed by China with 6 launches. Oh, we did got an audio feed. We did got the call out that the tanks are now pressurizing for a strong back retract. At this point, we add a little bit of gas to firm up the tanks so that the clamp arms can open up with a solid structure holding the Falcon 9. Strong back retraction process right now is now underway. At T-minus 4 minutes 14 seconds and counting, all systems are go for on-time liftoff. Now, meanwhile, a couple of important steps were completed. The spacecraft team switched to internal power a few minutes ago, and fueling of the Falcon 9 first stage is finished, meaning all the RP-1 prop is now on board. We are still loading liquid oxygen on both the stages, that is the first and second stages, and the next event will be the call out for wrapping up of the LOX load. Well, Pop Tripica, I guess maybe we will be able to see the California fire as you said, and right now on your screen you can see how slowly the strong back is retracting with the line still connected to the payload fairing, which is still carrying the liquid oxygen to the second stages, as well as electrical signals and air conditioning up there in the payload fairing. Would like to welcome Carl Zor Thanks for joining us. We did got that stage 1 lock load is now complete. We will be getting the upcoming call out for stage 2 lock load wrapping up just inside 2 minutes mark. Now, Kalzor, I did saw you commented on the chat on the upcoming 12-7 Starlink mission. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you will be enjoying the stream and we can meet your expectations. For what it is your head is on fire, Angry Bird. Oh well, about the YouTube things. Fine, okay, you don't have to be. Guys, you are family here, so no formalities. One moderator is saying another moderator that sorry, apologies. And now we got the call out. Stage 2 lock load is complete. All propellants are now on board the Falcon 9 with 1 million pounds of propellant. And you can see that white cloud coming out as we are venting down the pressure that was in the tubing on the strong back. An indicator of launch coming up. Next event T-minus 1 minute, we should hear the call out that Falcon 9 flight computers are in startup.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Right on time, Falcon 9 flight computers on stage 1 and stage 2 are running the rocket through the last minute of count. Now let's listen to the go call out from the launch director.
Launch director, go for launch.
SpaceX launch director giving go for launch. We are coming up on T-minus 30 seconds around.
T-minus 30 seconds.
All system continues to remain go for the launch of Falcon 9 and Starlink. So now sit back and enjoy the view with the launch.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go Starlink.
Falcon is pushing downrange.
T plus 15 seconds into flight, we have liftoff. Falcon 9 has cleared the tower successfully. We did got some good call out. M1EB chamber pressure is nominal. Falcon 9 on its way with 23 Starlinks into low Earth orbit right now. We are right now in the throttle bucket. We are throttling down the 9 Merlin engines as we prepare for the period of maximum dynamic stress coming up. Some more good callouts. Power and telemetry is nominal. Expecting a call out for vehicle being supersonic.
Vehicle is supersonic.
There we go. We have exceeded Mach 1 on the Falcon 9. Falcon 9 right now is faster than the speed of sound as we have gone supersonic. And we did reach the max Q. We throttled the Merlin engines back up to full power. Next event expected is the MVAC engine chill. Excuse me.
MVAC in flight chill.
excuse me, we did got the caller for the engine chill, and coming up 3 events in rapid succession: the shutdown of main engine on first stage, that is main engine cutoff, MECO, followed by stage separation and SES1.
Stage separation confirmed. And back ignition.
There we go. We got all the callouts for back-to-back milestones. MECO followed by stage separation and then MVAC ignition. Now on the left side of your screen, you can see those grid fins to begin deploying slowly. Fairing separation confirmed. Fairing has successfully separated. Now, Paprika, as of now, we didn't got to see anything. Now, you are looking right now a view of the first stage, which continues under the guidance of the grid fins. We are getting today at least good views, sharp views from the first stage. Hope, Paprika, you will be happy with this. But again, with the entry burn, it will get hazy. Now the first stage is continuing to descend with the guidance of the grid fins and the gravity. It will continue to rise towards the apogee before descending back down towards the landing site, that is on the drone ship, Of Course I Still Love You, stationed in the Pacific Ocean. Second stage, meanwhile, in the middle of its about 6 minutes of burn and is on its way into the parking orbit. So far the launch has been great. First stage has done its job and it's now on its way back to the landing site. The second stage is running at full power. You can see with that glow of the MVAC engine nozzle, and we are getting views, but today we are not getting views of our planet Earth from either stages. Well, yes, it's not having that much of suit yet developed on it, maybe. For that, it's still clear. Also, I'm not sure about that what is the apogee. But if you will be saying about the payload, it will be like deployed at 279 kilometers approximately. Previously, these details I used to get from Kelso, a person who is
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
providing these details on X about the apogee and the perigee of the payload. Now we did got the call out for the entry burn, and you can see on the left side of your screen, and this burn should last just around
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
and this burn lasted for 23 seconds approximately, and we are now getting a little bit of views from the first stage with the thin atmosphere of Earth.
Stage 1 FTS is safe.
Stage 2 FTS has been saved. We did got this call out, and which means that stage 2 has gone through its orbital insertion burn. Next call out, we are expecting that stage 1 getting transonic. Well, the first stage is tumbling. Just see how beautiful it's looking. Really, Paprika is looking beautiful. And see how the atmosphere is expanding. It's looking awesome. And we did got the call out. Stage 1 is now transonic, which means now it's traveling slower than the speed of sound as it heads towards landing. We are less than 60 seconds away from landing of the first stage.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Great shots of the landing burn with the center E9 engine now lit. We are slowing down the vehicle very rapidly. Should be seeing those landing legs deploy any seconds now.
Landing leg deployed.
Landing legs deployed. And there you have it. We have successfully made
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
382nd landing of an orbital class Falcon 9 rocket. Coming up next, we will have the second stage engine cutoff, that is SECO 1, and following that event, we will enter into nearly 48 minutes of coast phase as the vehicle ascends to its target orbit. Hopefully, we will get that call out.
And back shutdown.
There we go. Back shutdown, that is SECO 1. Expecting a call out for nominal orbit insertion. These views are sharp from second stage. And now we are getting views of well, sorry, excuse me. I said so many things, but my mic got turned off. I was saying, Kalzo, that about that apogee which you were mentioning that time, you can check TS Kelso, a person who is providing details for each satellites and every launches in his website called Celestark. So it's worth giving a look. And I think if you will be interested more about the yes, Paprika, it was my mistake. I forgot to turn on the mic back again. So If you are interested more in-depth details about each satellite's performance, trajectory, and their decaying rate things, you can have a look there as well with the similar kind of site like Jonathan Sir. And I hope you all are aware that Jonathan Sir is asking for our support to build his new library as he is moving somewhere or something like that. There is a video more describing what he is into right now, but he did ask some contribution from us so that it will help him to work in a more good way. Although all these years he never asked any kind of help from us, so it's worth helping him this time because always he is providing such in-depth details about each satellites and launches with their trajectories and every kind of stuff. Yes, Angry Bird, I made the mic turned off mistakenly instead of turning off the audio from the SpaceX feed. So that caused the issue. I hope I could again repeat myself what I said. So that's a wrap for now. And again, thanks everyone for joining us. Uh, we really appreciate you being here and thanks for your support as we could monetize our channel back again. Thanks Kalzo, thanks Pop Tripika, thanks Angry Bird for tuning in. Wish you a great weekend ahead. Hope you guys will be enjoying. And please be sure to check out our social media handle on X for the latest happening in space industry and updates on upcoming launches. We hope you enjoyed the stream and we could meet your expectations. We appreciate everyone joining us for today's launch. Once again, thanks for tuning in and wishing you a nice week ahead. This is AstroYonder Live and me Dipta signing off for now, and we will see you next time.